Welcome, this video is about Keynesian economics and fiscal stimulus. Before that, understand what is aggregate demand. Aggregate demand or domestic final demand is the total demand for final goods and services in an economy at a given time. It is often called effective demand. This is the demand for the gross domestic product of a country. Now let's see what is Keynesian economics. During recessions, economic output is strongly influenced by aggregate demand, but in the Keynesian view, aggregate demand does not necessarily equal the productive capacity of the economy. Instead, it is influenced by some factors that affects production, employment, and inflation. Keynesian economics is developed during the Great Depression from the ideas presented by Keynes in his 1936 book, The General Theory of Employment, Interest and Money. Keynesian economics served as the standard economic model in the developed nations during the later part of the Great Depression, World War II, and the post-war economic expansion between 1945 and 1973. Keynesian economists generally argue that as aggregate demand is volatile and unstable, a market economy often experiences inefficient macroeconomic outcomes in the form of economic recessions and inflation, and these can be avoided by economic policy responses, in particular, monetary policy actions by the central bank and fiscal stimulus by the government, which can help to stabilize the economy. Keynesian economics advocates fiscal stimulus when the economy is in a recession. Fiscal stimulus is based on principles outlined by Keynesian economics. The goal is to increase employment, consumer spending, and investment. Fiscal stimulus is action by the government to encourage the private sector economy by reduction in the level of taxation or increase in public spending that might be performed in order to encourage and support economic growth. Fiscal stimulus is different from expansionary monetary policy. Instead of using monetary policy to replace private sector spending, fiscal stimulus mostly deals with tax cuts, lowered interest rates towards specific sectors. It is often argued that fiscal stimulus typically increases inflation. Counter-arguments say that if the economic depression is high enough, the risk of inflation is low, or that in depressions where inflation is too low, but central banks are not able to stabilize the inflation rate without fiscal stimulus by the government. In simple words, the object of the fiscal policy is to inject money into the economy by increasing the public spending, but in any case public store the money given to them makes the fiscal policy ineffective. Let's see the difference between fiscal policy and monetary policy. Both monetary and fiscal policy are macroeconomic tools used to manage or stimulate the economy. Monetary policy addresses interest rates and the supply of money in circulation, and it is generally managed by a central bank. Fiscal policy addresses taxation and government spending, and it is generally determined by government legislation. Monetary policy and fiscal policy together have great influence over a nation's economy, its businesses, and its consumers. For more videos like this, subscribe to our channel.